Hello, everybody. It is how many days till Samhain? How many days till Samhain? 9 more days till Samhain. So I thought I would do this video on ritual ideas or different ways to celebrate Samhain. And this thing that keeps popping up on my computer. There we go. I usually teach a workshop on it, so I'm just going to go through the paperwork I have. And this is actually, I put that in my Samhain boxes. And Samhain is like the most important of all 8 Sabbats. Well, to me it is anyways. It's a time where we honor those that we love and friends who are deceased. It is considered a witch's new year, and officially end of the light half and beginning of the dark half of the year. Yep. On this day, the great god of the sun dies and leaves his widow, the goddess, crone, to mourn him until Yule and light will return. That's one thing I look forward to, is because I know when Yule comes that the days are getting longer. It's like, yes. Okay. So Samhain celebrates the end of the goddess-ruled summer and marks the arrival of the god-ruled winter. The name Samhain means summer's end. Okay. So aspects and types of magic. The veil is thinnest at this time. It's a great time for divination and spiritual connections. It's a great time for inner work, so shadow work, confronting fears, and that's what I'm doing with the daily prompts, for journal prompts, and I'm actually writing in my journal a lot this month. Releasing the things that we don't want in our lives and lay groundwork for future endeavors. So usually what I do is I take the month of October to kind of like reflect back on the year. I usually do a reflection video as well. I'm not sure if I'm going to do one this year, because I might bawl on it. I really don't want that out there for the world to see. So, and then, so usually I go through the year and figure out like what I've learned this year, what I want to work on still, and what I want to release in the new year. Also, I set goals for the new year, as well as I write down kind of like the ones that are coming to my mind of who I want to work with. What else I'm trying to think? I always pick a word that represents the year that's gone by, and I pick a word that I want to work with in the new year, or an emotion. It's usually what I do. So we'll see how that goes. Alright, so blessed Samhain. Alright, just going to go through what I have here. Okay, so I have here kind of like notes that I give in my workshops. So this one, couple sentences is, I go through like different areas and different religions and stuff like that, right? So Christianized version of Samhain is All Saints' Day, November 1st, which was introduced by Pope Boniface in the 7th century to supplant the pagan festival. So that way, instead of celebrating the pagan festival, he inserted that instead. All Souls' Day, which falls on November 2nd, is another Christian adaptation of the festival, and also Roman Catholics observe that day as a sacred day of prayer for souls in purgatory, which I do remember my parents talking about. In England, it was believed that the ghosts of all persons who were destined to die in the coming year could be seen walking through the graveyards at midnight on Samhain. Many of the ghosts were thought to be of evil nature, and so for protection, jack-o'-lanterns where hideous carved faces were lit and carried as lanterns to scare the evil spirits away. Well then. In Scotland, jack-o'-lanterns were carved from turnips. In Belgium, they used to prepare special cakes for the dead. Small white cakes or cookies. A cake or cookie was eaten for each spirit, with the belief that the more cakes you ate, the more the dead would bless you. Well then. Let's see what else they have here. Another Samhain custom was to light a fire in your household hearth. So back then they would have like the fireplaces. So you would light it, and which would burn continuously until the first day of the following spring. Which back then it kind of makes sense. Like you wouldn't do that now. You wouldn't have your fireplace burning continuously unless you don't have heat in your house. then it would be a continuous thing. So back then it didn't make sense because they didn't have furnaces. So that is technically their furnace. Until the first day of the following spring. Oh, as well, huge bonfires were lit on the hilltops at sunset in honor of the old gods and goddesses and to guide the souls of the dead home to their kin. It was on this day that the Druids tallied their livestock and mated their eels for the coming spring. The average person was said to wear costumes to confuse the entities. Witches should be dressed as witches so they can be identified by the entities. It is said that lighting a new orange-colored candle at midnight on Samhain and allowing it to burn until sunrise will bring good luck. However, according to an old legend, bad luck will befall those who bake bread on this day or journey after sunset. I don't know how true that is. So, magical aspects. It's mystery magic. Veil between the worlds is at its thinnest. Samhain is the ideal time to make contact with and receive messages from the spirit world. So it's a good idea if you have, those Zen gardens? If you have a Zen garden, you can put one out and ask the spirits to communicate that way. So they might write you a message in it. If you don't have one, even just putting flour on your counter or on a plate or something will give them a tool to be able to communicate with you. Divinatory art of scrying, crystal gazing, rune casting are tradition, as is standing before a mirror and making a secret wish. Wonderful time to communicate with our ancestors. A great time of the year for inner exploration, which is the shadow work. So the type of magic is divination work, spirit work, getting rid of things you don't want in your life, and laying the groundwork. Yep, I said that. Let me see. Alright, so if you want to work with some aspects of the goddesses on Halloween, here are some examples. So the Morgaine, Celtic, is a warrior goddess that is associated with death and is often represented by a trio of ravens. It is said, she who decides who shall leave the battlefield alive and who shall be carried away on their shields. Then you got the Hale, which is Norse. She is the ruler of the underworld in Norse mythology that is also named Hel, H-E-L. Mortals that do not die in battle, normally from sickness or old age, join her in Illusioner. Then you have Freya, which is Norse. Normally Freya is associated with fertility and abundance, but she is also known as a goddess of battle and war. Half of the man that died in battle would go to Valhalla, but the rest would join Freya and Folkvanger. So you got Demeter, who's Greek. Through the loss of her beloved daughter Persephone, Demeter is linked to the changing of the seasons, and her imagery has been linked to the Dark Mother and the death of the fields. With Hades stealing Persephone, Demeter let the death die for half the year until her daughter returns. And then if you want to work with a consort aspect of the god, here is some that you can work with that relates to Samhain. So you got Anubis, which is Egyptian. This god has the head of a jackal and is associated with death and mummification. It's Anubis that decides whether or not the deceased is worthy of reaching the realm of the dead. Then you go to Cyrus. He's Egyptian as well. The story of Osiris' death and his dismemberment by his brother, then his resurrection by his dearly beloved queen and lover Isis, has been associated with the last harvests. Then you got Yama, which is Hindu. In Hindu tradition, Yama was the very first mortal to die and go to the next world. He is appointed the king of the dead. And then you got Hades, who's Greek, the Greek god of the underworld and keeper of the dead. The ancient Greeks named the underworld after the supposing god. He would ensure the souls of the dead remained in the underworld where they belonged. There you go, guys. If you're into working with mystical creatures, then the ones associated with Samhain are the Puka. I'll try to show you a picture of them. Okay, so we've got the Puka, the Goblin, Medusa, and the Vinside, which is the Banshee. You see the pictures there? Okay. So, and then you've got, there's two more on this page. Hang on, guys. You've got Periton and Harpies. You see that right there? Probably really light. Sorry, guys. All right. So I've got how to celebrate. So I've actually, when I do my workshops, is I go through all of this, and you guys ask questions and stuff like that. That wasn't all of it. There's a lot more to it. And then I write down some ideas of how to celebrate it if you're brand new. Right? I also put down oracle spreads that I find. And then people usually give a choice. This is the one I use, the Year Ahead Tarot spread, which is the bottom one. I use that one all the time. And then you got the Witch's Samhain spread. So I usually give those out. So, how to celebrate. Number 1, set up an altar in honor of your ancestors. Which most of us have already done that. I have one already. I usually have one up all year long, but I kind of like revamp it around this time of year. Leave them offerings of fresh water and food, and light a candle in their honor. Number 2, do a divination for the coming year. So, like your spread that I showed you, the Year Ahead Tarot spread, you can do that one. There's a lot of other ones that you can find online. Past life recall, you can do that. You can do a meditation. Drying winter herbs, which I still have some drying there. Scry to communicate with the spirit world. So you can use a scrying mirror. You can use a crystal ball. What else? Water gazing. Candle, like the candle flames and stuff. And then number 7 is wonderful time to honor their life and lovingly set them free. 8, spend time with yourself. Allow your dreams to speak to you. Meditate and listen to the wisdom of your ancestors and spiritual guides. So basically take some time to honor your ancestors and to communicate with them and to sit there and just be in their presence. Number 9, spend time outside when the moon is dark. Listen to the wind. Allow the elements to embrace you and know you are one with everyone and everything. Number 10, a nature walk. Admire all the colors of fall, which I have done. Number 11, you can leave a plate of food outside the home for the souls of the dead. 12, a candle placed in the window guides them to the lands of eternal summer. And bearing so you don't leave a candle if you don't want your house to burn down. You know what I mean? Like, don't leave it lit and then walk away. But you can use like LED lights as well. It's the intention of it. Okay. Burying apples in the hard-packed earth feeds the past ones on their journey. A time of reflection, of looking back over the last year and maybe writing a journal. So I was telling you guys, like, I'm writing my journal right now. I find I write a lot more this month than I do all year. Like, I'm continuously writing. A time of reflection, of looking back over the last year and maybe writing a journal entry. Hit pause, reflect on you and your life over the past year. Review your journals, planners, photographs, blogs, and other notations you have created during the past year. Consider how you've grown, accomplishments, challenges, adventures, travels, and learnings. Meditate, journal about your year in review, your meditation, and your reflections. So I've actually gone through, because I did, if you remember, I did the whole year. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's in here. I did the whole year, and if you look at the whole year, when I went back to look at it, okay, so, let me see. September is number 9. So September's number 9. I'm trying to think here. Yeah. So it talks about like being like no matter what is going on around you, to keep on your path and be persistent and commit to your dreams for the long haul. And it's something that Jackie has always taught me, is don't let anything break you. And it says, time to stay. Break large projects into smaller steps. Stick with it. Stick to the priorities. Overcome procrastination. Chip away at your dreams and desires with daily action. Commit to your dreams for the long haul. And she say all the time, and it's just, the fact that the middle of the month she left our world. And then number 10, which like is in October right now, and it's like one of my harder months because we did a lot of things together for Halloween and stuff, right? And Samhain and just all that. And my one guide is Archangel Michael, and that is the card I pulled. You know, so it's basically he's reaffirming that he's here. You know, that really hurt. Actually, what the heck? I don't know. So number 14, Pumpkin Ancestor Altar. I've never done this, I don't think. So create an ancestor altar using Halloween's favorite fruit, pumpkins. But it's weird because my ancestor altar is here, and then my seasonal altar is right here. And there's a lot of pumpkins around it, and there is an actual little pumpkin at my ancestor altar. Not meaning to do it, I just placed it there. So cut your pumpkin as if you're making jack-o'-lanterns. Scoop out the seeds, then wash and dry them. Instead of creating a face on the pumpkin, carve your ancestors' names or initials into the flesh, speaking them aloud as you work. You can also paint the names or initials on the pumpkin. If you go this route, still make some holes in it to still act as a lantern. Dry out the pumpkin as best you can, then put the seeds back in with this blessing. And it says, "Dearly departed, but always present, bless what's inside with your presence." So I'm actually going to do that with the one that I have there. And then place a tea light on top of the seeds and put the pumpkin outside to light up the night until the candle goes out. The next day, take out the seeds and save them to plant next year. Pretty cool. Then number 15 is set up a dumb supper. And that's something I have written here. Doing a dumb supper. Set a place setting for those that we have lost, and it's a great time to read divination tools. Great time to pick up your oracle cards, your ruins, your tarot cards, your pendulum. Perfect time for that. Number 17, set up goals for the coming year. I discussed that before. Number 18, place a white 7-day candle in the window to guide the dead to the spirit world. Light the candle and speak these words. It says, "O little flame that burns so bright, be a beacon on this night. Light the path for all the dead, that they may now see what's ahead. Lead them to the summer land and shine until Pan takes their hands. And wish your light, please bring them peace, that they may rest and sleep with ease." That's very beautiful. Number 19, visit a cemetery. Another way to honor the passing of a family and friend is to visit and tend their gravesite at a cemetery. Call to mind memories and consider ways the loved one continues to live on with you. Place an offering there, such as fresh flowers, dried herbs. Rosemary is a great choice. It helps to remember and honor them. Or fresh water. See, when I go to visit my grandma, because I know she liked her coffee, I sometimes pour some coffee on her like in front of her. Yeah, that's what I do. And I always bring a carnation because that was her favorite flower. So there we go. 20. This is what I usually do on Samhain. Bonfire. Write down a habit you want to get rid of and throw it in the flame, and imagine yourself adopting a new, healthier way. That's what I do. And then this year, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use corn stalks. I have corn stalks. So I'm going to use that, use a marker and write it down and then throw it in. So that is my plan. So that is what I'm doing. Jack-o'-lanterns, I think I already talked about that. So that is some Samhain ideas, ritual ideas, or celebration ideas that you can do to celebrate Samhain. You guys have a blessed day. It's 9 more days till Samhain.